The break is presented by Browning Trail Cameras. You've got to see this. Closed captioning is brought to you by iScope, smartphone adapter for the outdoors.
Without a doubt, everyone on the break supports our military veterans and those currently serving. This week, we're joining the Kniestedt Foundation down at Gravic Ranch in San Ysidro, Texas for Cast and Blast, a hunting and fishing event for a group of active duty soldiers. We'll also take a look at a couple other organizations with the same goal in mind, helping those who serve. It's an honor to work with the Kniestedt Foundation and those who protect the freedom we enjoy every single day.
It's a first-class experience. Really thankful for the Kniestedt Foundation.
We're here with the Kniestedt Foundation, and we just began our first annual Cast and Blast event. This is a outdoors therapeutic event for active duty veterans and first responders that are serving our country. I have two very important guests I'd like to introduce. Chris Fields from Operation Restored Warrior, Tom Brown from Task Force Dagger. Both of these gentlemen have served, both retired from the military. We have a lot in common. We've had a great 5 days, and I want to open it up to you first, Chris. Tell us a little bit about Operation Restored Warrior. I understand it's been running for the last 8 years. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, Operation Restored Warrior was developed by Paul Lavelle, the former Air Force Master Chief or Command Master Chief. He came to it by virtue of seeing that there was a drastic need for help for veterans. The current numbers right now are 23 veterans a day are committing suicide. It's almost one an hour, which equals out about 8,000 a year. It's high, just not acceptable.
Right. Devastating number.
Yeah, very, very devastating number, especially when you put it into that matrix. It's a program that's run by vets, guys with PTSD. It saved my life, period. And that's one of the things that, you know, I'm kind of a Claymore kind of guy. I gotta feel the blast, I gotta feel the heat, I gotta see the percussion of it and the damage to say, well, you know what, that works. Well, Operation Restored Warrior in this program works. It's a spiritual approach to helping service members and first responders get their lives back, restore their hearts, and more importantly, establish the relationship again that they're supposed to have with their family, their kids, their wife. And we get a lot of letters back saying, you know, thank you. You sent me back my husband of 25 years. Thank you very much. It's a program we do it once a month, and it has helped over 800 service members.
Here we are on day one in South Texas at the Gravic Ranch. First blood for the Cast and Blast event held by the Kniestedt Foundation. And couldn't be prouder. Get this guy at about 200. Mr. Jim put me in a perfect position to let that 308 sing.
We've done a lot in 8 years, Chris. That's really inspiring to hear. I'm impressed, you know, and it's something that draws my attention. I wanted to open this up to all our viewers that support all of our organizations, which are 501c3, and I want everybody to be aware of that. It's privately funded donations that support all three of our organizations. And you had mentioned about being close to the blast. And a lot of times we've had paraplegics, quadriplegics, PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and all of that. So there's a lot of collateral damage that the active duty goes through, both men and women in that situation. And can you highlight a little bit about that? You mentioned that or you alluded to having some experience where it affected your normalcy of life. And when we look at the physiology, the mental health, the physical health, the emotional health, can you share a little bit more on that with us, please?
Yeah, personally, I was in 15 blasts. The last one was pretty traumatic. Took an RPG in my back seat. Everybody in my vehicle was wounded. We were very lucky to walk away. The problems and issues with that are that I don't really remember most of it. I still have problems speaking sometimes if I get tired. I really start to lose my speech. And I had a doctor that really kind of put it in perspective that you're only about 70% of what you were. looked him back in the face and I said, well, I'm going to be 100% of that 70%, Doc. Get out of my way.
Very good.
And the way that Operation Restorer helps do that is it's a spiritual approach. It brings men back to where they're supposed to be. We're supposed to be out in the wild. We're supposed to be dangerous, and we're supposed to take this country back. And part of that is that it's the spiritual. We talk about God, we talk about Jesus, and we have our very quiet mantra that it's Jesus without all the BS. And I say that very respectfully, but you come as you are.
Right.
We meet you where you are in the pace of your life.
For as long as I can remember, the Browning name has meant something to people in the outdoors. So when I went looking for a trail camera that I could depend on, there was only one name that came to mind: Browning Trail Cameras. So if you're looking for a trail camera that's easy to use, is unbelievably reliable, and takes amazing pictures and videos, there's only one brand that I trust: Browning Trail Cameras.
Browning Speed combines advanced fabrics, tailored fit, and innovative camouflage. Hunt harder, faster, and stronger than ever. Speed, killer clothing.
This segment is brought to you by Indian Creek Shooting Systems.
Again, down here at the Gravik Ranch in South Texas. We went out this evening for a hog hunt. About 7 o'clock, the feeders went off. We sat for a while, had about half a dozen deer come in. And about 8 o'clock, we started hearing the does blowing off to our left, and followed by some grunts. Eventually, about 10, 11 hogs come out. This guy was kind of towards the middle of the pack. I was right at that point, between taking the slack out of my trigger and following through, and the smaller one spun around, got his hind quarter, dropped in the middle. So dropped the smaller one, he went squealing. This guy went off about 20 yards in the woods. We got it done.
But Tom, I wanted to invite Task Force Dagger into this conversation at this moment.
Yeah.
And I know you've been running, it's 2009, correct, that the Task Force Dagger began. Tell me about the who, the what, the where, the when, and the how of Task Force Dagger.
What we do, and we call it a recreational therapy events. And we take guys, like you're saying, when they say they're fine, in a state of denial, or depression, or anger, and they kind of get in that vicious circle of those three.
Right.
We're trying to get them to acceptance. But our charter is to serve the special operations community.
Okay.
And we are right there with US SOCOM, a major command in the military. And they've created the Warrior Care Foundation. And we're kind of their go-to people to step in with emergency funds for families of special operations soldiers that are suffering for one reason or another in one way, shape, or form. And our response time right now is about 2 hours. If a soldier's or his family member calls with an immediate need, they reach out through their chain of command. If he's on active duty, it goes to US SOCOM. They call us, and we're in touch with that family, trying to wicker out what exactly it is we could do for them within 2 hours, and we do it. Last year, for fiscal year 2015, we helped out 386 families, and this year, our fiscal year just ended, we've helped out 500 families, and with over $1.3 million of charitable donations that we've passed on to these immediate needs.
Right.
Yeah, so
Really impressive. It's a big number.
you know, the other, let me interrupt, because the other part we're really proud of is we're at 94.5 cents on every dollar that we take in goes right back out.
Yeah.
We don't need very much operating expense. it's primarily operated by volunteers.
That's impressive. And so all three of us are privately funded. Tell us a little bit how Task Force Dagger staffs their programs, therapeutic retreats and recreation. And then I'll come back over to you, Chris, and I want to understand a little bit more about that as well, please. Tom?
You know, it's a great story. Keith David started the foundation in 2009 as a way to give back for a successful career that he had. And him and his wife began to run the foundation out of their home, which they do primarily still. And eventually they gave up their living room, their dining room. One of their children who had moved out, that bedroom got converted, and they ran it from their home for years. And then they finally reached out with an office space, but office space costs money. And we're so, they're so generous with their time and the money they receive that it still runs primarily out of their home so that we can not spend money on office space.
You know, that gives me a lot of inspiration just to hear that. And, you know, we've not discussed that yet. And, and that inspires me. And I do want to comment that both of you during the last 5 days with the active duty members that we've had, it's very inspiring. And it puts me in a mindset, you know, I just want to be a better person all the time. I want to keep learning and adapting. And it's really neat to see when I look at this particular week. It's probably one of the best weeks I've ever had in my life.
Our veterans and those currently serving have selflessly volunteered for duty and risked their lives for the benefit of all Americans. With this in mind, the Kniestedt Foundation was established to show gratitude for these individuals by providing the opportunity to participate in unbelievable outdoor experiences. Each event we organize is strongly rooted in our 4 guiding principles: respect, integrity, connecting individuals, and empowerment. Visit Kniestedt.org to discover how you can create a brighter America for those who have sacrificed so much.
We've taken 3 different trajectories. We're all 3 retired military with varying degrees of TBI, PTSD, physical trauma. For whatever reason, we're medically retired or have those disabilities. And I see that, and when I look at the active duty that was with us this week, and you could see them at day 1 to where they're going into day 5 now, and really impressive. And getting back to Chris, you know, on Operation Restored Warrior, how do you fund that? How do you staff it? Share a little of that with us, please.
We're also private donations, 100%. Great patriots throughout the United States have given us funds, and we're up in the high 90 percentile also. I think it's 97%. Same thing. We don't have any staff that are paid. We're all volunteers. We have great locations that have generously offered their location for us to put on the event. It's a 5-day event. We have a licensed counselor, and every one of us are combat vets. So we meet the combat veteran where he is. And I think that, you know, one of the biggest problems I had when I came home was I had psychiatrists, saying, I know exactly how you feel. No, you don't. Toughest day that you ever had was that they had soft serve ice cream in the cafeteria in the college you went to. You haven't gone through what these warriors are going through. And for me, it was very difficult for me to open up unless somebody had been there. And so what we try to do, or what we do is have an environment that they feel that they can trust us with their story, with their the issues that they're carrying around.
Now that you mention that, I've noticed over the last few days where each of the active duty members that were here began to open up, began to have some private conversations. And oftentimes in the outdoors, in the therapeutic opportunity that's created just by being outside. And it doesn't have to be hunting and fishing. And obviously the focus for this group was the cast and blast. We spent a lot of great time on the bay yesterday, great time hunting. And you could see that fit well for this group. And some of them were non-hunters, non-fishermen, and they had the time of their life, and it disconnected them. And going back to further your point and get a little more depth on that, Chris, I did notice, and I watch, and I like to sit back, and I try to stay out of the way in the event, and I always tell the staff, I'm going to try to stay out of the way. And I saw you've had some intimate conversations, and I don't want to invade that privacy, but any testimony you could share with us there?
There was one certain individual who's going through a rocky time right now with his loved ones, and time away is never a positive away from the situation, but this was 100% positive for him because it brought him back to his kind of square root, and that is, I say, dove hunting.
Good for him.
And that really set him down. But in those moments where nothing was coming, he just kind of opened up and said, I feel like I'm home. I feel like I can be again. I don't have to have that armor up.
Right. That's a great point, armor up. Now we're about armor off.
Yeah.
Did you notice any difference in tone in any of them? From day one going into day 5 right now.
The difference in the tone and the vernacular that they're using. And a couple of them haven't been big hunters.
No. True.
They really are wanting to be more involved, not so much in just the hunt, but the outdoors.
Hey, this is Cliff. My friends call me Mendoza. I'm here at South Texas at the Gravik Ranch, and today I shot my first pig. And basically, it was her and one other pig, and there was a whole bunch of deer on the feeder before. So we just said, hey, this looks like a nice pig. So we decided to take it out, and I'm very happy with my guide and how he helped me out. Said, hey, let's just do it. Took it out.
Good job.
Banks Outdoors is the place that connects family.
Oh my God. Thank you. Yeah. That was unreal.
This is the place that connects friends.
Yeah, bro.
Bro, you did it. What a phenomenal story.
This is the place that brings excitement.
3, bro.
Most importantly, this is the place where memories are made.
Buddy. Dad, I will never forget this moment.
Neither will I, buddy. Neither will I.
Why do I shoot in Indian Creek? It's deader than a hammer. Indian Creek once again.
The break is also brought to you by these fine sponsors.
Speaking for myself and everyone with the break, we're super proud to work with the Kniestedt Foundation. They're doing great things for our military servicemen and women, and they couldn't do it without corporate and individual donations. These companies and organizations stepped up to help make Cast and Blast a reality. Western Construction, Bosch Tools, Shimano, Temple Fork Outfitters, Operation Restored Warrior, and Task Force Dagger. Thanks to all of you for contributing to this great cause.
I really enjoy hearing the experiences, and people learning how to be honest with themselves, being accountable. And I have seen, especially in these last few days, this will be their 4th night going into the 5th day. You see some of that, and they share things, and they're opening up. And I think a lot of times it's a good start being in the outdoors, the therapeutic approach to it, whether you're hunting or not, or fishing or not, or you're just outdoors. it opens up the inner self. And I know Task Force Dagger's done a great job with it, Operation Restored Warrior. How do we get in touch with y'all?
You know, we have a website, most places do, I know you do. Ours is taskforcedagger.org.
Okay.
You can make a donation there. And, you know, one of the ways people get in touch with us is we do a lot of fundraising. And when you do fundraising, people who donate to you in either in the form of a facility like what you've done,
right,
or even cash donations, and they want to tell people about what they're involved with. And we invite our donors to our events, usually for a dinner, about 2/3 of the way through, after everybody's got a relationship going. And that's a phenomenal way to spread the word.
Mm-hmm.
But at taskforcedagger.org, you can make a donation. We get a lot of donations, $10, $25, $2,000. It's very easy. You can donate, and we'll recognize that with a tax slip for your donation.
Yeah, I understand we're all 501c3.
We are
It's important for the viewers to understand that. And I want to share just a brief experience on the note. A gentleman sent me a nice letter from Southeast Missouri. I'm not going to use his name, but he's a World War II vet. And he sent a note. He said, "It's not much, but I hope it helps." And he saw the show before, and it impacted him. And now he's in a motivational stage. You know, he's well into his 80s, doing really well. But you know, it's the $5 and $10 that really makes it for us all year long.
Yeah.
You know, it's really.
You know, when we get a donation of $100 from a guy who only takes in, $2,000 a month,
sure,
that's a significant. He feels that, and he's doing that from his heart. And sometimes it means a little more than the big donations from a corporation.
Sure.
They're ready to just kind of write you a check and say, "You're doing great things. We believe in you. Thanks for what you're doing." But the feeling from the guy with the small donation, you can tell that.
Here we are on day 3 of the Cast and Blast event down here at Gravick Ranch. I was out this morning with my guide, Mr. Bob, and I believe he's the hog whisperer. He's put us on hogs every time we've been into the line. Just really thankful to be able to harvest another animal here at Gravick, and it's a first-class experience. Really thankful for the Kniestedt Foundation, the break, the guys from Western Construction, and from Bosch that are here assisting with the event, and the whole Kniestedt and Gravick staff as a whole. It's just been amazing this weekend.
You know, at the end of the day, we're all here finding a synergy to work together, and it's really refreshing for me that Kniestedt.org or Kniestedt Foundation found the both of you, and it brought us back together after 25 years.
I
believe that?
I know, it's been so long, and then it's like we just picked up where we left off.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great feeling.
Tom, thank you for being here.
Jim,
I appreciate all you do.
Thank you for what you do.
Chris, I
Thank you
appreciate
so
all
much.
you do, and thank you for being here.
As we close out the Kniestedt Foundation's first year of existence, we couldn't be any more excited about how things have gone. At the beginning of the year, we set the goal of having 4 events. Here, this Cast and Blast event is actually our 5th event of the year. As we look forward to 2017, we've got some great events planned here in South Texas. Tuscan Tales will be one hosted here at Gravick Ranch, and then we plan on heading out west for 2 very, very exciting hunts. All of these hunts could not have been a success at all without the generous donations of private individuals and our corporate sponsors. So we're so thankful to all of them, and we look forward to some more exciting action here on the break. If you'd like to find out more about the Kniestedt Foundation or how you can support a future event, please visit Kniestedt.org.
This has been a Hunter's Link production.